Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's a good day to work on the Raptor. The weather's not bad and we've got some pretty cool parts going on. And we've got an Archer that just escaped from the kitchen. Also, if I look a little tired, because I am. Alright, let's take a look at what we got. In this box, we have SDI's leveling kit for Gen 2 and Gen 3. This is going to replace the top hat on the front suspension. Pretty cool. It adds about 10 millimeters of preload and the rest in spacing height. So this should give me about 1 3/4 inch lift in the front, and it should level out the back. And also in here, we've got some bushings, and we've got some hardware, and the other mount. All right, cool. Looks like we have everything. Now, the last time I did anything like this was probably the Jeep, and I was able to do that. So I have some confidence that I'll be able to do this too. We've got a pretty nice day here in Florida. It's not too hot, it's just very sunny. We got the tent up and underneath this thing about as much as possible, just so I can be protected from the sun. Let's also take a look at what's right over here to my left. Welcome 1552 back to the channel once again. And some 37s. We got some big meats going on this thing. I hope I made the right decision. I hope these fit, and I hope I don't hate it. So we've got the 1552 Timbermac HDs 17 by 8.5 ET0. It should be very, very close to this. These are by 9 ET18. So if you do some math, I believe these will stick out maybe, I think it was like 6 or 7 millimeters, something like that. But anyways, here they are. We've got the KO2s going back on it. Should look very good. I also, just because why not, we have some quick disconnect valve stems. If I ever have to air down the tires, these do it very, very quickly. You just unscrew this, pop this up, and it lets air out very rapidly. Only problem with these is that the lug nuts are not here yet, and Amazon's delivering them today, so hopefully they show up early enough that we can get this thing wrapped up. Alright, first things first, let's jack this up, throw a jack stand under it. Let's get started. Alright guys, I had to have my friend Josh bring me some sockets because that is a 27 millimeter and on the other side is a 30. I only had some sockets that went up to 24, so that was no bueno. While I was waiting, I kind of cleaned up the brake caliper a little bit, so that's cool. And I just went ahead and unbolted the 8 and the 10 that were here, so all of the lines are now loose. I also undid all of these like Christmas tree style clips going all the way up so that everything is nice and loose. Next, I went ahead and popped off the axle nut cover. We're gonna go ahead and pop the nut off of there. Then we're gonna get the nut off here. We're gonna get the nut off the tie rod. We're gonna go up top to the 3 strut bolts up top. And then we're gonna go for the big papa. What's up guys? It's another day. It is Thursday. Reason why I did not finish this the other day is because when I was working on this side, I could not get the tie rod end out from the spindle. So I had to buy this guy right here. I did the passenger side this afternoon after work. As you can see, it's almost dark, which means the mosquitoes are coming. But if we just take a quick look, if we have enough light, maybe not. No, we don't have enough light. This side's almost done. I have to get the upper control arm back into the spindle, put weight on the suspension, and then tighten everything up. The top hat is in there. Everything is good to go. Really just need to button it back up, put the wheel back on, move on to the driver's side. Now I did the passenger side first off video because honestly, I knew I was gonna struggle. I do have the spring compressor. Don't mind the absolute mess right now. Spring compressor here. So I was able to use that. That worked wonderfully. Thumbs up. All right, we're back inside now so we don't get attacked by mosquitoes. Back to what I was saying, I wanted to knock out the one side first before getting it on video, just so you guys didn't see me struggle. There was some struggling for sure, but I was able to do it by myself, and I'm pretty happy about that. Now I do still have the driver's side to do, so hopefully I can do that side by myself as well. Tomorrow's Friday, I've got the entire day off. I do need to run a few errands, but we're gonna go ahead and knock out the driver's side and get this thing done. And I'll be sure to film and show you guys the new wheels and tires that I have for it as well. What's up guys, it's Friday. Let's get this done. Last night I tried to show you what I had going on, but it was kind of dark. So, here's what we have. Don't mind my pink 550 cord. I don't really have anything to hold this in place, but that worked wonderfully. We have everything kind of set in place. Yeah, you can see the SDI top hats there. The top bolts are mostly tightened. The tie rod in. The lower shock bolt down there is in. And really, I need to get this into this. It's quite a big gap, and this is like spring loaded, so this is going to be a nightmare to try to do by myself, but let's see if we can get it done. You guys, I did it. I came up with a plan that I don't think I've seen anybody do, but I also haven't seen a lot of DIY videos on Raptor suspension. So what I did, I took my jack, I compressed the suspension as much as it will go, which is not much, obviously, but it was enough to get that in there. Then what I did, I took my other jack handle. Now, if you don't have two jack handles, that's fine. You can jack that up and then remove it and then use this. What I did was put this right in there. And as you can see, when you're pushing down on it, it's not going to go anywhere. And you know, you can already see it's already hooked up. So you're not going to see any movement right now. But I was able to get this all the way down, hold it, move the spindle over, get it in place, hold everything, and then with my free hand, grab the nut and put it on there. We are good to go. I feel very smart right now. Or maybe like MacGyver, I don't know. Okay, so anyways, we're gonna go ahead and tighten this. We're gonna tighten this. We're gonna tighten the bottom nut and bolt. The bottom one's gonna be fun. It gets torqued to like 450 foot-pounds. It is unreal. My torque wrench doesn't even go to that. So, according to some internet math, you take a breaker bar, you take a pole, figure out the distance of the pole, your weight, you can do some multiplication, put your weight on the pole, bada bing, bada boom, you have 400-ish foot-pounds. Let's hope that works. I also have to hook these brake lines and sensors back up. There is a vent tube that's got to be hooked back up. These need to go back in here. The hard lines need to go back in here. And then I'm going to double check the top nuts. And then we're good. We're going to throw the wheel back on, move on to the driver's side. Hell yeah. Let's go. All right, guys. Passenger side wheel is back on and torqued, and we are working on the driver's side. I've already got the wheel off, and I went ahead and loosened the tie rod end just to make sure I can get that out. That is good to go. So now we can move forward. We're going to go ahead and disconnect all of the lines. We're going to unbolt the brackets again here and here. This sensor for the live wire is up here, so I'm going to try to get it from in the engine bay. If not, you kind of have to do it blindly, so we'll see what happens there. Then upper control arm, top bolts, bottom bolt, and that's it. We'll get this thing out of here. All right, guys, check it out. Well, I went and got weights because this thing was going to blow away on me. But anyways, we are almost out. This is disconnected, obviously. That's disconnected. I did pull the axle nut on this side. I didn't do that on the other side, but some of the videos I've seen said to pull that. So I went ahead and pulled it. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make, but it is pulled. Bottom nut is off. The bolt is still in there holding the shock. I just have to get the top 3 nuts off, and then this thing's going to come out. I went ahead and disconnected the live wire cable. I did that from the top. You can get to it right down there. Honestly, passenger side, driver side, they're both about the same difficulty. They really weren't too bad. Passenger side just sat on the frame. This one sits up here, but because you can get to it under the hood, it was pretty easy. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get these top nuts off, pull that out, and we're going to pull the shock out. Let's go. All right, guys. Everything is disconnected. Now the fun part. You have to push down on the control arm and pull this out at the same time. It's much easier, I would say, probably if you have a friend or something with you. And just like that, it is out. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this top nut off and get this thing out of here. All right, don't mind the trash in the background. We've got some cleaning up to do after this. So here it is on the spring compressor. Now ideally this would be bolted to the ground, but I've got it under a tire just because it is gonna be a little bit forward heavy with this on here, because this thing is a beast. It's very, very heavy. And there is a chain I'm going to tie around the spring just as a safety, as a precaution. But you pretty much do this. It jacks up this part here, compresses the spring, and I can go ahead and get the top hat off. Alright guys, we have everything back in. Top mount is up there. Just as a note, I did post on the Facebook group for the Raptors. When installing this top hat, there's a little tilt to the back, and I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be like that or not, but a quick confirmation, they said that yes, it is supposed to be tilted back. Everything fits just fine. So you can see there the SDI logo is in the middle coming down. I've got the tie rod hooked up, the bolt through the bottom of the shock, and now we are at the part that I was telling you guys about, the little trick with the jack handle and getting this back into the spindle. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how I did this. Okay, I believe that's a good angle. All right, so pushing back on the spindle and down on the control arm with the jack handle, we are in place, and we've got the nut on. And there we go. That is that. That's back in. Nut is on. We've got to tighten this. We've got to tighten the top nuts. I think we have to tighten everything actually. We're going to put these brackets back on, clip all the harnesses back in, and then get this thing back on the ground. Oh, and I'm pretty sure I have to do a live wire recalibration once this is done as well. So I'll probably pull down there on the flat ground and run that through ForeScan. Yeah, I just realized I haven't filmed much of the actual install. I apologize for that. But I did give you a few tips and tricks on how to do this if you're by yourself. We're done on this side. We have the upper control arm nut and the tie rod nut secured. They are torqued down to 85 foot-pound. The top nuts up there are secure, and the bottom strut bolt down there is also secure and as good as I can get it. I used my 1/2-inch breaker bar with the 30 mil socket and that jack handle, which is about 3 feet long. So 3 feet times the amount of force that you are putting onto the object. Let's just say I put 100 pounds of force on it. That would be 300 foot-pound of torque. If I did more, etc. It has to be at 450, but right now I just don't have anything that I know for sure I can get it at 450. So I think what I'm going to do about that is when I go to get an alignment, I'm going to see if they can double check the torque spec while it's on the rack. I think it's going to be my best bet to know for sure that it's secure and that it's torqued down to the proper spec. Also, I forgot, this is back on. The axle nut is back on. That's only like 20 foot-pound, which seems really like nothing at all. But that's the torque spec, so that's done. Cat's back on. All of this stuff is bolted back up and secure. Everything is ran. The live valve wiring is ran back up to here, hooked back into the harness. We're done. We are freaking done. Honestly, not that bad. If you have a second pair of hands, that would be really helpful. But I did it by myself, all said and done, in about 6 hours. I think it was about 3 hours or so per side. And that's with me never doing anything like this before. Granted, it's kind of the same as lowering a car or lifting a Volkswagen, just slightly different and a lot bigger hardware, different torque specs, of course, everything like that. All right. Let's go throw this wheel back on. All right, guys, we are done. I just did a measurement. Front fender, rear fender are 43 inches, pretty much exactly. The rear is just like maybe 43 1/8. It's hard to tell because I am on my driveway right now and it is slanted. So the back looks lower. If I turned it around, it'd probably look better. But here it is. Overall, not too bad. I set up an alignment for tomorrow at Ford, so hopefully they can knock it out, take care of it for me. And as you can see now with the 37s, plenty of room. And then there is the top hat. You can see it from the wheel well. All right, I came inside because my neighbors across the way, they're moving in, talking and making noise, so just coming here just so I can be in the quiet. I'm gonna wrap this up. I have to run out really quickly, get some gas, and go pick up my race packet for tomorrow. I'm running a 5K over in Satellite Beach for mental health awareness, so it should be a pretty good run. I'm gonna try to get a PR. We'll see how that goes with me working on the truck and my back hurting and everything like that today. All right, well, as always, thanks so much for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, see you guys later.